Hey y'all, Corey here from Ensemble, Texas, and in this Texas Nature Journal entry, I thought it would be great to introduce you to my very leggy and scraggly rock rose. Rock rose is a fast-growing evergreen Texas native shrub typically found in the rocky woods and limestone outcrops of central and western Texas. It's known for its showy, hibiscus-like pink blooms. We have a few right here. It's been blooming really profusely just about all spring and summer long, but that's kind of the reason why I thought it might be interesting to show you how this can take shape as the plant grows rather significantly. But the rock rose is also a very drought-resistant and low-maintenance plant, which makes it a really excellent choice for new or experienced Texas native gardeners alike who are looking to add more native plants to their landscapes. Rock rose displays resilience in really challenging conditions. It can do quite well under full direct sunlight, although it might wilt a bit in late spring and summer afternoons. But it rarely, if ever, needs any watering and can withstand pretty poor soil conditions. It blooms throughout the late spring, summer, and early fall. And in my landscape, I've come to find the rock rose is a pretty consistent source of color in the mornings, even as temperatures rise into the summer. We're here now in mid-August, just about. Things are really, really hot. And the rock rose has consistently bloomed and grown really rather profusely. Some additional quick facts about the rock rose. Other common names include the Texas rock rose, something to look out for. It can grow to the height of about 1 to 3 feet tall, but can reach 5 feet tall. You know, I really think if you measured out our rock rose at some of its longest, tallest points, we may be around that height here, about 4 to 5 feet tall. As for the soils it prefers, it likes well-drained, dry, shallow soils. In the natural areas, these plants grow in shallow limestone and rocky woodlands. As for its water intake, it's a really low water use plants. Occasional waterings during droughts can encourage fuller blooms. It's been really hot and drier now as we get into August, although we've had a pretty wet spring and summer, so I haven't really felt any need whatsoever to give any water to this rock rose. The rock rose can tolerate full sunlight, but in a perfect world, rock rose should receive full sun exposure in the morning and midday. Should be followed with some afternoon shade during the hottest part of the day. Again, it can handle full sun, but the plant may appear a bit wilted without the afternoon shade, and the blooms will close and look closed mostly like my plant does right now. So where is the rock rose native? Well, the rock rose is native to the rocky limestone outcrops of central and west Texas, as I already mentioned, but its natural habitat extends from the Edwards Plateau through the Rio Grande Plains and into adjacent areas of Mexico. Rock rose is actually relatively uncommon in its natural environment, but thanks to the nursery trade, has become a really familiar sight in many Texas landscapes. In San Antonio, it's become very popular recently in the city-maintained landscapes, given its low water needs and low maintenance, and its ability to tolerate a really significant heat and sun. And so, you know, I enjoy seeing it in and around the city of San Antonio and in many of our public parks. So some benefits of having the rock rose in your landscape. Well, you know, first for you, I think it's attractive plant with its attractive blooms. The rock rose offers a really eye-catching display of pink flowers throughout spring and summer, most prolifically in the mornings. Their blooms open in the morning and then close in the early afternoon during the hottest part of the day. The rock rose is really well worth considering if you want some extra color in your landscape when really much of it has faded as summer heat arrives. As well, along that, it's a very drought resilient plant. So rock rose has a really deep root systems that help it access moisture even during dry spells. You can explicitly select a drier location on your property, as I have here, to plant a rock rose, and after it's established, you won't really need to worry about any supplemental watering at all. And then it's really low maintenance. So once established, rock rose rarely needs any watering. They do quite well with neglect, and I've certainly been neglecting this rock rose, as you can maybe tell by its shape. They can benefit from the occasional pruning, obviously to maintain shape and remove any dead or damaged branches, but we'll talk more about pruning the rock rose in just a second. Benefits for wildlife though, however, the rock rose is an important nectar source. So rock rose's nectar attracts bees, butterflies, and moths. They attract hummingbirds, although I've yet to see one visit. And the rock rose is as well potential deer browse. So rock roses can be a food source for white-tailed deer, especially during harsh winters when most other plants die down. So you can keep this in mind, that the rock rose can potentially be an asset, especially with how prolifically it can grow to protect some of your higher value plantings, young trees and things like that. So as for planting and care, where to plant your rock rose, we mentioned this a little bit in pieces already, but drier locations on your property. Given the rock rose's preference for and ability to withstand drier conditions, it's really valuable to pick a site that's drier in your landscape. Rock rose will most certainly survive and honestly thrive in the direct sun all day. This spot is more shaded during the morning than it is during the afternoon, and this plant has done very well. But when it's hottest, the blooms do close and the plant begins to look a bit wilty, although no intervention is needed on my behalf. As for maintenance, the rock rose really requires minimal care, especially if it's planted in the right location. However, here are some things that you might want to think about if you're considering planting the rock rose or troubleshooting some issues with an existing planting. So first and foremost, it might benefit from some winter protection. Not anything you need to do like to cover it, in burlap or whatever. However, the rock rose handles most winter conditions across the state without dying back completely quite well. However, if you live north of Dallas, where temperatures might dip a bit lower more frequently, consider providing some extra winter protection. And I would think that this would be in the form of just fresh mulch and really deep waterings. But as well, maybe planting your rock rose originally with some south winds protection. And so, we're on the south side of my property here, right behind a guest house. So this is a bit insulated from the worst of the winds that our property does receive. We are in San Antonio though, and I'm not too worried about the rock rose dying back. As for the soil conditions, this might be worth mentioning. The rock rose, again, prefers really well-drained soil, right? And can suffer from some fungal issues like powdery mildew when left in wet conditions. If the plant develops powdery mildew, what I believe to be most effective, I haven't experienced this myself, but in my research I found is to stop with any additional watering if you are giving any supplemental water, and prune back any and all affected areas. New growth will eventually return as the temperature turns hotter and drier. But that seems to be the best way to take care of the rock rose if you're encountering that kind of issue. As for its lifespan, this is very important to know about the rock rose. It's actually a short-lived plant, and it has a lifespan of just about 3 to 4 years. However, after years 1 and 2, you should notice some new seedlings starting to sprout up near the mother plant as it spreads. So be sure to have some of those seedlings protected. Don't pull them out or trim them away, as they will eventually replace the mother plant. As for pruning, so the rock rose doesn't have to be pruned, but as you can see, it can really benefit from it. As for one, it only blooms on new growth. But the rock rose can also get a bit leggy, obviously, and keeping it nice and compact will help with more profuse and consistent blooming and keep the plant in a more landscape-friendly shape. You can see it is starting to encroach on our other plantings here, our Texas sage, and I have a small Flamicanthus here, which will eventually, fill in this little space here. But it is starting to take it over. I even had another little small transplanted Flamicanthus further in here, and I was a little surprised with how quick the rock rose grew, and that Flamicanthus is no more, but that's just fine. And so, you can prune it back anytime between February and October. if it becomes too leggy, without any issue. And so that's why I thought to record this video here now, because it seems that need for my rock rose is really quite obvious. As for some companion plants, some potential companion plants to partner up with the rock rose, the Flamacanthus, which I think will be nice here with the complementary red blooms. Also the Alpine holly, Texas redbud, Mexican plum, mealy blue sage, cedar elm, autumn sage, cenizo or Texas sage here. Also, I've heard recommendations of beargrass and Limheimer muley. So a lot of things that the rock rose really complements well with, especially with its bright pink blooms, that you could add as partner plantings. As for the seasons, what to expect season to season with the rock rose, starting in spring. The rock rose begins blooming in late spring, producing a real, an abundance of vibrant pink flowers. I'm sure I'll have much footage of that for y'all to see. But during this period, new shoots and leaves will emerge. Then to summer, the rock rose continues to bloom, and throughout summer with flowers, often completely covering the foliage, which I've most certainly seen. They thrive in heat, and they're perfect for the summer dry climates that we experience in abundance here in Texas. As fall approaches and temperatures become colder, the blooming display of flowers starts to slow down a bit. Depends on how hot your summer is. Dead blooms then release seed pods, which eventually dry out and split open to allow for the germination. As for winter, the rock rose will enter into a dormant state, and you can certainly cut it back or transplant it or anything like that during that time. All right, as for propagating the rock rose, that's best done from cuttings, specifically softwood cuttings that are taken from the stem between May through July. Semi-hardwood cuttings work too, but they're less reliable and often require more rooting hormone to encourage root growth. But you can aim for a length of 3 to 6 inches and make a clean cut just below a leaf node. You can remove all the leaves except the top 2 or 3 leaves, and to encourage faster root growth, dip the cut end of the stem into a rooting hormone. And then after prepping your cutting, go ahead and plant them in a well-draining rooting bed and keep the soil moist intermittently. And with proper care, roots should develop within 3 weeks even, and can be transplanted into bigger pots 4 to 5 weeks later. All right, y'all, along with my own personal experience and observations that I've made of the rock rose out in Texas's natural places and landscape places too, there are many books and resources that I consulted in the production of this video and the complimentary page at ensembletexas.com. So to find all those resources, be sure to look in the video description below and go to that very page at ensembletexas.com. You'll have lots of books and articles and things to check out, in addition to all the information that I've shared here and at that page. Again, that's at ensembletexas.com. And lastly, if you want to get started with Texas native plant landscaping but don't really know how or where to look or what to do, be sure to go to ensembletexas.com/freebies to get my free cheat sheet on getting started with Texas native plant landscaping. Again, that's at ensembletexas.com/freebies. You can also find that linked up in the description below. All right, y'all, until next time.